was long pending. We thought we'll do it in the temple last time, but a lot of time went into the discussion. So we thought, and also that there are some of you or most of you were not there. So we thought, let's do it when we are together here. So that's why it was pending, and today we got this opportunity to do it again. And we have all of you again with us today. Of course, some of you are still missing, but no problem. So we have this last session today, which is basically true unity in diversity. The importance of this session is that it is going to tell us why there are so many religions when we understand that the God is one. There is one question which lingers in lots of minds these days: why there are so many religions? Why it is required to have so many religions? So we'll get that answer logically, and along with that we'll also have 2 or 3 more things which we are going to discuss today, and that is understanding the Sanatana Dharma. Now, just to know the religions, it's one thing, but we also need to understand about the Sanatana Dharma, the God. And of course, Srila Prabhupada, the ambassador, and how his contribution is there, and what actually brought us all together here. So that is another thing what we are going to discuss today. So let's go ahead. Of course, we have done sessions on soul, we have done sessions on the kleshas, how to come out, what is that game of life, what is the ultimate, finding the ultimate genius, and the mantra, the meditation. So all those sessions are over, and now we are at the end, the last session, which we'll discuss today. So the question is, why so many religions? So first, let's understand the principles which are common in most of the religions. I think all of you will agree that all the religions, they have something common, and that we will discuss. One of the pointers, approach to a spiritual master. Not only religion, actually, this is common in every aspect of life, including if you're talking about some institution, etc. This point is common, that all of us agree that we should have a guide, we should have a spiritual master, a guru, who actually guides us and protects us from doing mistakes. He guides us and he protects us from going towards the wrong path. He also protects us from getting wrong information. And he is a connecting link between us and the Supreme Lord. So that is what is spiritual master. It is told in scripture, Sakshat Daritvena Samasta Shastre Uktas Tatha Bhavyata Eva Sadhi. So he is almost direct representative of Supreme Lord, who gives us this knowledge of how to approach him. So approaching a spiritual master and taking guidance from him is common. God is one, and love of God. Love of God is common. Every religion talks about that love of God and how that love can come to us, and how it is so important, or the crux of all our practices is actually to develop or rekindle that love towards the Lord. So that is common again in most all the religions. Obeying of God's law. This is another important thing we see in most of the religion. If you obey, you go to heaven or you go to Jannat. And if you don't obey, then you may have to either stay here or go to lower species, which is told either as hell, or it is also told as what is it? Yeah, so Narak, what we say. So that is all there. So you do better good things, you obey the law, you go to higher, you get higher destination. You do opposite, you get lower destination. Then returning to God's kingdom, this is also there, that if you obey the laws and serve the Lord, then you get eternal service of the Lord. No more sin, stop sinful activities, live a life of morality, live a life of brotherhood, live a life of staying in harmony with each other. This is another common principle which we see in all the religions. And glorifying the holy names, chanting on the beads or chanting on the fingers, but glorifying the names, glorifying the Lord. This is another common thing among the religions. So sacrifice and renunciation of material pleasure. Okay, so this is another common thing. So everywhere you see all the religions, they actually promote this simple living and high thinking. They always help us to reduce our requirement or dependence on the material things or the worldly things and increase our interest and inclination towards the understanding our own self, the master within self, and the Supreme Lord. So these are all common things in all the scriptures. So we cannot remain atheist and wear the garb of secularism. Please understand there is one very important principle. On the name of secularism, you cannot be atheist. Atheism is completely different. Actually, if you say I'm secular, secularism also promotes you to practice these common principles, whether from any religion, but you need to practice the principles. You cannot say, I do not believe in God. That is atheism, and that's not something which is healthy for a good society. Atheism actually makes you believe that you are the best and your thinking is best. And that creates a lot of discrepancy, disparity in society. Whereas if we follow, what is actually secularism is follow your religion and respect everything else. That is secularism. You respect everything, but you have to follow something. You cannot say I respect everything, but I don't follow anything. That's atheism. That's not secularism. Secularism is follow something. If you believe in Hinduism, you follow Hinduism and respect other religions and promote everybody to practice their own religion. That's secularism. So that is what is expected from the head of the societies or head of the countries, that they promote all the citizens to practice their own religion and make the arrangements so that they can practice easily, not that people become atheist. So that is secularism. So now scriptures based on audience. This is another important thing. See, scriptures are based on the level of acceptance of the audience. So for example, if you say mathematics, if you show to an elementary class, a third class, a fourth class person, you ask him what is 2 minus 5, he'll say question is wrong. It's nothing like 2 minus 5. But the same question you ask from a high school person, he'll say minus 3. Immediately he'll say minus 3. And you go to higher principle, they'll start some trigonometry or they'll start this higher, principles of mathematics will come when you talk about graduation. Okay, so it all depends on what kind of audience you are catering to. In the same way, you have to present the knowledge. You cannot bombard somebody who doesn't have that mentality, something higher. They will say it's wrong. Like an elementary school person will say 2 minus 5 is wrong. So that's how the scriptures are. For example, in Islam, it is told all animals except pig and dog can be eaten after sacrifice. Because at that time and the place where the Islam was born or Islam was started, the people were so degraded that they were eating almost any animal. So then the higher people of the society or the self-realized people who were actually compassionate to all the citizens, they came up and told, okay, you want to eat somebody, don't eat indiscriminately. Don't just pick up anybody and start eating. You keep some animals, keep some days, and eat only those after some ritualistic activities. So in that way, at least you control your tongue and control this exploitation of animals. So that was told because that was required at that point of time. Then the Roman Catholics, they say take meat every day except Friday. So okay, you want to take, but at least keep some day where you cannot eat, so that you can believe that it is possible to stay without meat. So then they say, okay, at least keep one day when you don't eat. So when you get this practice and when you get this confidence that yes, there are some days where we can stay without it, then why not other days as well? Why to become so dependent on this that we think we cannot stay without such nasty things? And then you find in Sanatana Dharma, meat eating is a pillar of sinful life. And true spiritual life cannot begin until we show mercy towards God's creatures. So it's important. If somebody asks you, why should we not eat meat? So it's a simple thing. It creates cruelty in you. You have to kill somebody, hear their pain, see their blood, and that you have to eat. When you have better alternatives available where you don't have to get their blood out and hear them screaming while killing. No. So meat eating promotes cruelty, and when the person is eating meat, you get those feelings inside you. Then we have a question: then why not? Then why not milk or cow milk? Chetan is asking. See, milk actually is the love of cow towards us. As per scriptures, we have 5 or 6 kind of mothers, which are known as dhatris, mothers. Like Prithvi is considered as one mother. The mother who gave you birth is considered as one mother. Your guru's wife is considered as one mother. Cow is considered as one mother. So these 4 are considered as mother as per our scriptures. So cow's milk can be taken when cow's offspring, the calf, has been fed sumptuously. So if you take care of the calf nicely, and if you take care of the cow nicely, the cow is automatically feeling that love towards you, and then they give milk. So forcefully taking milk from cow is not good, and it's not healthy as well. Nowadays, people put machines and put injections in cows to take milk. That is actually not good. That is actually giving pain to cows. So that is better not to take that. And there are always options available where A2 milk is available, where milk is available in the nearby goshalas. You just have to do some extra effort to get milk from there, but it is now available. So many people are now coming up in breeding and rearing the cows and cattle. So you can always try to find out around you and take milk from there. So a good point, Chetan. So let's go ahead. How old is Sanatana Dharma? That's the next thing. How old is Sanatana Dharma? See, Islam is around 1300 years old. We see the history of Islam. Christianity is little bit more, let's say 2000 years old. What about Buddhism? A little bit more, 2500 years. Okay. Bhagavad Gita, it was spoken 5000 years. Okay. But what about Sanatana Dharma? There is no starting point of Sanatana Dharma. We say Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. So from the dawn of creation, when the creation started, Sanatana Dharma has come. Because Sanatana Dharma is Vedic knowledge. And Vedic knowledge is there from time immemorial. So that is the oldest, and that's why it gives knowledge for all types of people, because for all so many ages come, people of so many mentality come in. So Sanatana Dharma can cater all kind of people. Okay, so Sanatana Dharma is an eternal religion. Now this is from the book Jaiva Dharma by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the comparison between Sanatana Dharma and Islam. So many things which are similar between Sanatana Dharma and Islam. Okay, often called Hinduism. Islam is a word from Quran. So like individual soul is known as Jiva. In Sanatana Dharma, we say Jiva. In Islam, it is told as Ruh. Then spiritual or spirituality or spiritual is known as Chit. Whereas in Islam, it is known as Muzarrad. Material is known as Achit. So which is Chinmaya or Chit is living or spiritual. And Achit or Jada is known as material and it is known as Jism. Then conscious or liberated souls are known as Mukta Jiva, liberated souls. Whereas similar thing in Islam, liberated souls are known as Ruh Muzarrad. Okay. Conditioned soul are known as Baddha Jiva. It is known as Ruh Tarkibi. So Ruh Muzarrad is liberated, Ruh Tarkibi is conditioned soul, Baddha or bound. Then impurity or ignorance is known as Mala in Sanatana Dharma or Sanskrit. The same is known as Malafut in Islam. Spiritual word is known as Paravyoma. It is known as Paralok or Paravyoma. So, in Islam, it is known as Alam al-Mashal. And love of God is known as Prema, which is known as Ishq. And God is Ishvara or Khuda. Okay. And soul is eternal. Okay. Servant of God. Jivera Sarupa Krishnera Nityada. This is there in our scriptures. And in Islam, it is told Ruh remains an eternal servitor, Banda of Khuda. Khuda ka Banda. It's always Khuda ka Banda. We are all servant of the Lord. There is similarity between Sanatana Dharma and Islam. So do they say the same thing? Yes. This comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Kazi replied, what you refer to as Jiva, individual soul, we call Ruha. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is a famous discussion which has happened between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is actually one of the hidden incarnation of Lord, which has taken, which happened 500 years back in Bengal, Navadvipa. So there, one of the Leelas, the pastimes of the Lord, there was Qazis or the Muslim rulers that time. And one of them actually tried to stop the Sankirtan movement or the propagation of Sanatana Dharma. And the Lord actually collected all the people together and he started speaking to Qazi because Lord didn't show his spiritual valor because he was taking the role of a normal individual of this world because he came for a particular purpose. So he was into discussion with Qazi. And at the end, Qazi started telling, what you refer to as Jiva, individual soul, we call Ruh. This Ruh is found in two conditions. Ruh Muzarrad, which is bound, and Ruh Tarkibi, Ruh Muzarrad, which is liberated soul, and Ruh Tarkibi, which is conditioned soul. And what you refer as spirit, Chit, we call Muzarrad. And what you refer as matter, we call Jism. So this is what we just saw. So Ruh Tarkibi or Baddha Jiva has a material mind and is full of ignorance, malfut, and desires. And the Ruh Muzarrad are pure and aloof from all these contaminations, and they reside in spiritual abode, which is known as Alam al-Mashal. So every soul will have taste of death. Yes. The life of this world is but the comfort of illusion. This is given both in Sanatana. But those who keep their duty to their Lord, for them are gardens underneath which river flows, wherein they will be safe forever. So this was some comparison between Sanatana Dharma and Islam. And now let's say some commonality between Sanatana Dharma and Christianity. What is told in our Vedic scriptures and what is told in Bible. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.6 that abode of mine, na tadbhasayate suryo, na shashanko na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante, tadhama paramam mama. That abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. Na tadbhasayate surya, na shashanko, na pavakah, yad gatva na nivartante. If you go there, don't have to come back. That is my spiritual abode. Tadhama paramam mama. And what Christianity says, okay, another thing it is told again in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. There the sun does not shine, neither do the moon nor the lighting shine. What to speak of fire? He, the Lord, is shining. All these shine through his luster. All these are variously illumined. And what Christian Bible says, and there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord God giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. So this might be description of heaven, and that's what is being told. So now Sanatana Dharma, again, what is it? I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal, material, and nominal, by knowing which there shall be remain nothing further to be known. So in 7th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells this to Arjuna. And see what Lord Jesus has to say. There is much more that I have to tell you, but you cannot bear it now. So please understand, Jesus had knowledge, but the people at that time could not take it. Whatever he told, even for that he was crucified. What to speak of a higher knowledge? So Jesus knew, he wanted to tell more about Lord, but he could not tell because he understood people cannot understand more than this. So we need to understand that there is still higher than what is given in those scriptures. But Krishna, what he is telling in Bhagavad Gita, that I am now giving you in full whatever is needed to be known. And even in 13th chapter, Krishna says some amanitvam, madambitvam, ahimsa, chartirarjavam, acharyopasanam shauch. So he speaks some 20 things like this, and he said, this is all knowledge. Anything more than that, anything other than that is ignorance. So he has repeatedly told that I have given you everything in this, in our scriptures. So because those were spoken from time immemorial, and there the Rishi Munis had that mindset to accept it. Lord Brahma had that intelligence to accept it. But when we see the origin and the time where the Christianity and Islam was started, that is the time and the place where it was started. Now their saints had the knowledge. They were representatives of the Lord. In Bible, Christ has told many times, I am the Son of God. So they all knew. So they are all realized souls, but they could not give it in full to people because those times and those place and those people didn't have that mindset. So like we saw the equation, you have to give knowledge as per the acceptance of the people. So different religions have similar message. Now let's say depth of Vedic knowledge. Now depth of verifiable and inconceivable information in Veda is far greater than other scriptures. For example, if you see the creation, okay, what Bible says, Lord said, let there be light, so there was light. Let there be earth, so there was earth. So a kind of superficial description is given, which is correct. It is known as, in our scientific language, it is known as theory of spontaneous evolution. That all the creation came in 1 week, 7 days. One day water came, one day earth came, one day light came, because Lord said, let there be water, and water came. Let there be light, and light came. So that's how there's the theory of spontaneous evolution. But let's see the depth of Vedic knowledge. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is given step-by-step information on how the creation of the universe has happened, as well as the living entity, where they come, what comes first. First come ether, and from ether sound comes, and from there air comes, etc. So everything step by step given, how Lord expanded himself, how he entered into every living entity, how he put the bija into the earth, and now the living entity started coming. So and so many, how far is the distance between earth and sun, and how the whole universe has come into being very systematically is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is known as Sankhya or count philosophy of 24 elements of the universe. So Sankhya, what is Sankhya? Is the it's the philosophy of 24 elements of the universe given in Vedic scriptures, which is actually scientifically explainable and provable. So there is a whole temple which is being created, is known as Temple of Vedic Planetarium, which is coming up in Mayapur, which is a place in West Bengal near Kolkata. There a temple is being created on the theme of the Vedic cosmos. So this will be very good thing to be seen. Okay. So now let's say many religions says God is great, God is love, God is almighty, but they hardly have information how great is the Lord, how God is greatest person, how he reciprocates love with his devotees in colorful pastimes. Okay. Now let's say analogy of a dictionary. A pocket dictionary is like other scriptures, but Chambers dictionary is like holy Vedas, which are coming from Sanatana Dharmas, because they give in-depth knowledge of everything. Okay, now let's say understanding of God, how this understanding of God is given in different scriptures. Okay, so definition of God, a simple definition of God is as per Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first verse, first chapter, this, the one from whom everything emanates. That is the definition of God. Janmadhyasya yataha adi anadi. In Brahma Samhita, it is given Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. One who is the cause of all causes and one from whom everything emanates. That is God. So this is very fundamental knowledge and very complete, some wholesome knowledge about God. But now what is there in other scriptures? Now we are not blaspheming anybody. We are not against anybody. We are just trying to tell that those saints in other scriptures, other religions were also very learned. They were representatives of the Lord. They had all the knowledge, but they could not give it at that time because the people were not ready to take it. For example, Jesus claims himself to be Son of God. So, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Our Father, which are in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So he used to tell, Christ used to tell, our Father is in heaven and his name should be hallowed. His name should be spread. His name should be chanted among everybody, which we say as Sankirtana. In Quran, it is told Muhammad calls himself as Prophet of the Lord. That's why he was known as Prophet Muhammad. Muhammad is a messenger of Allah. Muhammad is not father of any of your men, but he is the messenger of Allah and seal of the prophets. That was told about Muhammad. But let's say what Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says himself to be God. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. So he says, I am the source of everything and everything emanates from me. All material spiritual world, this is 10.8. So Krishna declares himself like that because he's God. Only God can tell this. Nobody else can tell this. Nobody else can tell this with confidence. And Lord is not only telling, just for telling I am some fake God. No, he is showing from his childhood pastimes some extraordinary activities which cannot be performed by anyone else. That makes him God. In 6 days, when you are a 6-day-old child, killing a 6 miles long, that means 10 kilometers long Rakshasi Putana, a 6-day-old child is killing. It cannot, do you think it can be done by some simple person? No, that only Lord can do. A 7-year-old boy lifting the whole 25-30 kilometers mountain, Govardhan. It's not easy. It's not some animal, even an extraordinary person cannot do. He's a fit of Lord. So now let's see the similarity between names of God. See, Krishna and Christ. Prabhupada used to say, Christ word has come from a Greek word Christos. And Christos is the Greek meaning of the word Krista. And what is Krista? Krista in Sanskrit is called object of attraction. Krishta. It is known as Krishta. We say Akrishta. Akrishta means getting attracted to somebody. So Krishta is a Sanskrit word. So it is found in the Greek dictionary and it is also found in the Sanskrit dictionary. So Krishta is Sanskrit means all attractive. So when we address God as Christ or Krishna, even Krishna also means all attractive. So they are all synonyms. So it all actually point towards all attractive God. That's what is Krishna or Krishna. So Krishna, the Christ is actually, Christ word also means attraction because it has come from the root word Krishna. So Christ is considered as Son of God, but his qualities of attracting people are like God. Okay. So when Jesus said, "Our Father who are in heaven, hallowed be thy name," that name of God was Krishna or Krishna. Christ is simply another way of saying Krishna. And Krishna is another way of pronouncing Krishna. So the name of Lord. Different religions call him by different names as they simply glorify one of his innumerable qualities. For example, Allah, Jehovah, Christ, Yeva, Vaheguru, Elohim, Adonai, etc. Okay, so there are different names of or different ways to call upon the name of the Lord. So, for example, we call sun by different names, Ravi, Dinkar, Bhaskar, but all these names address the same object, sun. Similarly, all religions are addressing one God, whom they call by different names. God has thousands of names, being the greatest person. So, God can have thousands of names. He's the greatest person. We cannot confine him to a small religion, etc. He's infinite. So, that's why different people through their religion are calling him by different names. And God has various roles as well. In this material world, he is creator, maintainer, and destroyer. And he destroyed demons, protect devotees, and re-establish the religious principles. It is told, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. It's 4.4 chapter 8th verse. To destroy the demons, protect devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. And then he said dharma sansthapanarth, establishing the religion. That is the purpose of Lord for which he comes to material world. And beyond this word, what is the role of the Lord? There is another word, spiritual word, that God in various forms enjoys loving pastime with his devotees eternally. So another purpose of the Lord is to love his part and parcel, his living entities, his expansions, and to help them and to serve them with love. That is what is the role of Lord in spiritual world. So because of the above different roles, some religion present God as giver of justice, rewarder, punisher, etc. But ultimate role of God is to exchange love. See, like for example, what is the role of a CEO of a multinational company who has branches everywhere? His main role now is to have loving exchange with all his employees. So that's what he do. He keep going for meetings, he keep encouraging people, and he come back and all the people are becoming so motivated that they are running the whole show without him being personally present everywhere. That is because he is now investing time in people, not just money or not just the work, but people. So if you invest time in people, they will work for you. So that's what Lord does. He gives love and spends his time in exchanging that love, accepting service, giving service, etc., and make their life happy. So that is the service of the Lord in spiritual world. So he's a giver of justice, a rewarder, punisher, etc. But exchanging love is his main work. So there are 4 platforms of worship. Okay, we can either worship out of fear. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 types of people who worship me. Chaturveda bhajante mam jana sukriti norjuna Artha Jigyasu Artharthi Gyani Cha Bharatarshabha. So some people worship Lord out of fear, some people worship out of inquisitiveness, some people want money, that's why they worship, or some people are very distressed, that's why they worship. But the very few actually worship the Lord to exchange love and to serve Him. See, if you just imagine there is a multi-billionaire person and everybody is coming to him to ask something, he may give them, he may be a generous person. But if you go to him and ask and tell, I'm not here for money, but I came here just to establish a relationship with you and serve you happily and make you pleased. You tell this to Lord and He becomes very pleased and He'll be ready to give everything what you have. So Lord is like that. Okay. So people, sometimes they go out of fear. Sometimes they go out of desire. They want something. Sometimes they go out of duty, but best is out of love. If you do that, that person becomes completely surrendered to you. Okay, so ascending to ultimate religion of pure love of God is what is our purpose, what is our goal. So we saw why so many religions, because that's what people could understood. And now we saw understanding about God. Now I'm going to tell you a very important fact about this very important person. Because of him, we are all sitting here today and discussing about Bhagavad Gita. So this is Srila Prabhupada. Let's see this video.
Bharatvarsha, India's profound culture, filled with penetrating answers to man's deepest questions, has long guided thought in the Eastern and Western world. Ancient philosophers like Pythagoras, medieval thinkers like Voltaire, modern scientists like Schrödinger, Heisenberg, and messengers such as Swami Vivekananda accepted Indian philosophy for guidance and inspiration. Yet the purpose of this culture remained unknown, hidden in the hearts of India's greatest mystics. Thus, 50 years ago, in 1965, this rarefied essence was carried by a compassionate 70-year-old saint, Srila Prabhupada, to the shores of the Western world. Embarking on this difficult transatlantic voyage, experiencing 2 heart attacks on his 38 days aboard.
The pain was so severe. I was attacked by heart attack while on the sea twice.
This embodiment of India's sacred teachings set out alone with an impossible wish to spark a revolution of the individual heart, to fill it with purpose in a world of uncertainty, with joy in times of difficulty on an international scale. This gift was the teachings of Bhagavad Gita as it has been practiced for millennia, as it is, along with its original Vedic Krishna conscious culture. By his character and his compassion, Srila Prabhupada's systematic and scientific presentation of Krishna consciousness penetrated the very hearts of all those who heard him.
In America, in September 1965, my mission is to preach the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And within a mere 3 years of his arrival, a genuinely international society, ISKCON, manifested globally inspiring teachings of Indian A. Arts, such as painting, music, instruments, and exhibitions. B. Books, particularly his magnum opus, the literary and intellectual jewel, Srimad Bhagavatam. C. Cuisine, the entire suite of exotic Indian vegetarian preparations, mastered by generations of cooks and enthusiastically embraced by boys and girls over the standard cow flesh, alcohol, drugs, coffee, tea, and even the onion and garlic. D. Dressing, men with dhoti kurta, women in saris, all with tilak. E. Etiquettes, respect to elders, the saintly, and to God. F. Following the cultural pathway, Sanskriti, for example, introducing the sanctity of Vedic marriage with all its duty and its commitment. G. A God-centric program, establishing a personal relationship with the Lord in the form of exquisite deity worship, performed communally with kirtan, distribution of Mahaprasad, and worship. H. A healthy lifestyle with regulation such as rising early in the morning and pure habits such as bathing upon rising. I. Indian ethics, establishing the value from scriptures such as Ramayana and Mahabharata of a life filled with perseverance, tolerance, and humility over personal appearance, education, and wealth. J. Jolly dancing in kirtans to worship the Lord. Srila Prabhupada's teachings were centered on the essence of India's wisdom, that the constant chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or as he called it, the great chant for deliverance, was capable of revolutionizing the world.
If you kindly become Krishna conscious and chant and dance in ecstasy, emotional love of God, the whole world will follow you and it will be Vaikuntha. There will be no more trouble. Thank you very much.
His gifts to India included 3 major centers of culture and education in 1. Bombay, the economic capital of India. 2. Vrindavan, India's foremost place of worship. And 3. Sriram Mayapur, ISKCON's international headquarters. Srila Prabhupada's unprecedented achievements have created an imperishable legacy. Their magnitude is understood only in terms of how the world has changed since his arrival on Western shores. Indians are now valued not only for their technical competence, but also for their character, their holistic culture, and their loving devotion to the Lord. Today, his students form a body of world-class spiritual leaders to carry on Srila Prabhupada's mission of compassion. Truly, India has regained its position as a genuine beacon of light for the entire world, for generations to come, especially with the construction of the Temple of Vedic Planetarium.
Yeah, so you could see this video about how this Sanatana Dharma has been propagated all over the world in just few years. Prabhupada could go at 70 to face 2 heart attacks, and there was no medical help available. Still, he took that chance. He still continued to move ahead, and he went to Western world. He introduced Sanatana Dharma in the form of chanting. People who have never heard about Bhagavad Gita, people who have never heard about Krishna, he went there, he introduced it. Not only introduced it, he made them to follow them, and now to such an extent that they started going at different places and started propagating this knowledge. So much of transformation could be brought by him of Sanatana Dharma that now Bhagavad Gita is the highest selling book all over the world. More than 400 million books. That means more than 40 crore Bhagavad Gita have been distributed all over the world so far. So Sanatana Dharma is getting propagated by the people who are actually dedicating their life for that. And that was one thing. So in summary, what we saw today was how sorry. So what we saw today is how Sanatana Dharma and other religions are similar. We saw depth of Vedic knowledge, how far it is coming from so many years, and it contains all the things, and it is there for all types of humans, whether somebody of a less intelligence, more intelligence. I'm not less intelligent, more intelligent does not mean that somebody is higher or lower, but that means somebody is more intellectual, somebody is more sentimental, somebody is more emotional. So Bhagavad Gita has, Vedic scriptures have scriptures for all the types of people. And then we saw understanding of God, the definition of God. We saw the names of God is common. We saw role of God, which is given as what is in material world and spiritual world, which is common in all the scriptures. And then the knowledge that coming from fear to love, the different stages, and people who actually how they approach the Lord, Artha Jigyasu Artharthi Jnani, with the want of some desires or to fulfill those desires, fulfill some material possessions, or to come out of fear, or to come out or to worship out of love. So all this is there in scriptures. And this is how the deep our Sanatana Dharma and Vedic knowledge is. And then we saw how Srila Prabhupada is the ambassador to the spiritual world, who came here to reclaim the fallen souls, especially initially when they were in such a unhealthy and piteous situation. From there he took them out and made them to chant the name and spread the glories of the word, Lord all around. So that's what we saw today, and this is the summary. And we are now, this was a short session, last session, so we are now open for questions and comments. And meanwhile, let me tell you, tomorrow again we are going to have a wonderful session offline in temple. So we request you, or we invite you rather, to please come to temple and attend that session. We are going to have a session on the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, the special sutras from Bhagavad Gita. So that is going to come tomorrow in temple. We'll have 12:30 Arati, 1 o'clock session, and 2 o'clock prasadam, free lunch prasadam, special prasadam for all of you. So we are all very much welcome, and we look forward to have you tomorrow in temple for that session. So for today, if you have any questions or comments, we are open for discussion now. And if you have not got your certificates, you can please come tomorrow and collect your certificates. And otherwise, you can personally message Prajesh. His number is there in your WhatsApp group. He has posted about the class today. So you can personally message him with your names, which should come on the certificate. Of course, we have your names from the forms, and whoever has the good attendance, we are going to give them certificate. As well as if you have attended the sessions, we are also going to give you participation certificates. So all this you can contact Mr. Prajesh through WhatsApp, and it will be available for you. But your hard copy of certificates, you can always come on Sunday to temple and collect it in front of, you will be felicitated with a gift as well. And we have a quiz, the link has been given, and all the quizzes are getting analyzed, and whoever has got the best marks are also going to get felicitated, and you'll receive a wonderful gift again. So all these gifts and opportunities are waiting for all of you, and more important than that is we are waiting to interact with you directly. So we all invite you to please come to temple tomorrow and take advantage of this association of so many people, as well as take advantage of the sanctified prasadam and this knowledge of scriptures waiting for you. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions or comments, you can either type in the chat box or you can unmute and speak. We'll wait for another half a minute or a minute for you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Dr. Sushil Prabhu, for taking up all the sessions of the Discover Yourself course. I request everyone